Hey friends, it's Dimitri from Brushker Streetwear. So something that I've noticed recently that's really cool in my opinion is, a lot of people on TikTok, they post videos, and in the videos they have background music, and a lot of the music is mainstream and everyone has heard of it, but every once in a while an artist or a song that is not as popular or older, maybe it's like 5 to 10 years old, it all of a sudden kind of blows up and it goes viral. And it's really cool to see that, because you see the artists and the musicians, they're basically grinding away, making music, developing their art and their craft over those many years, those several years, like 5 to 10 years. They could be making music and they're not really at a super high level, they're not mainstream and all that, and one day, 1 week, 1 month, they just grow a lot in scale and in size, and everyone starts to notice that they have this large body of work, and people are like, wow, I like this song, I like their music, I can't believe I never knew about them. And I thought this was really analogous to running a business or a brand or whatever service, whatever you're trying to do. You might be working on your craft every day, you might be making sales, you might be growing, but it's really slow, and sometimes you might not feel like you're at the the level that you should be at, but that's okay, because if you're doing the right things and you aren't doing the wrong things, you're on the right track. So, and it's funny because I'd be on TikTok and I'd be like, oh man, I heard this song like 5 years ago. Like, I would listen to some obscure band that no one knew about, and now it's like viral. And I was just thinking, like, man, that's so cool, like how someone is still, after all this time, making music even though they didn't blow up, right? And that's kind of a goal for a lot of people. They want to become somewhat mainstream, somewhat famous, somewhat of a large company that a lot of people recognize, right? You don't want to be so small that you die out and you aren't recognized and your brand or business never grows and matures to what it could be. And that's what you really want, right? You want your brand to be at a mature level where a lot of people on the street can recognize it. And that's it's obviously a big goal for a lot of people. So if you're like doubting yourself right now, if you are sometimes tired of all the work that you put in and you get only a little bit out of it, that's okay, And you might be wondering, so at that point, am I on the right track? Well, there's a couple indicators that you could be on the right track. So the main one is that, I'll say another analogy. So sometimes there's a stream running through, or a little creek running through the forest, and it's producing water, stuff is getting out, it's going downhill, but there's a little tiny like log jam in the middle of it, right? And there's some rocks, there's some twigs and leaves, and it's just kind of stuck, but water is still flowing out, it's still getting downhill. Now, that might be you. Maybe you're making some sales, but you're not making a lot, but you're still growing, you're still making new designs, you're still, your audience on your social media is growing, more people are recognizing it month by month and year by year. That's a good and positive sign. That means that you're doing something and people are responding to it. If you have absolutely radio silence, no sales, no buzz, no growth in your social media or anything, there might be bigger underlying issues. But if you're making consistent sales, even if they are smaller, that's okay. You just have to figure out what's causing that tiny little log jam in your stream, right? And you gotta unclog it, you gotta get rid of it, you gotta get rid of that log jam. And that's basically like you're taking bad things that are causing disruptions in your brand or business, and then you're removing them, right? And now the water is going to flow, the good stuff is going to flow. Sometimes we always want to think of the most clever ways to accomplish things and to do stuff. But really what you got to do is remove the bad stuff, right? There's bad stuff in your brand or business that's causing you to lose sales, that's causing you, not to get the buzz that you deserve for your brand. And once you remove those, you're going to see growth in it, and then you're going to see that trajectory rise. And if you are, you have your head down, you're working hard, you're focused on growing your craft, you're focused on the quality, on customers, you are on the right track, and you just have to hold out on it, right? Another funny thing that I remember seeing float around social media, maybe you guys have seen it, once in a while it pops up. There's an image of a miner, and he has like a pickaxe or something, and he's mining for gold or gems, right? And the bottom picture shows that the guy, he quit, but he was almost there. And the top picture shows another miner, and he doesn't quit, and he's almost there, and he gets the gold, right? So some of you might literally be in that stage where you're so close to having like a breakthrough, to get that momentum and acceleration, and then your brand will skyrocket from that point. But you can't give up at that point, right? And that's where a lot of people fail. A lot of people actually are talented. They have a good concept. They have, a good brand direction, but they give up before they get to that point of acceleration where they can get that momentum going. And that's the really, really difficult thing about whatever you're trying to do. You need that momentum, and then that momentum will springboard you for more momentum and more momentum and growth and growth and growth, and you'll keep on growing in a good and positive way. So all that to say, don't give up. If you are on the right track, if you have someone in your life that is, at a higher level than you, let's say that you're making a clothing brand and you are actually connected with another person that has a sustainable clothing brand they've been running for like a decade or something, and they give you really, really positive feedback on what you're doing, that's also a positive sign that you're in the right direction. If they give you honest feedback, right? If they're like, man, this stuff is so cool, I would hire you. Sometimes if you hear that, like, hey, I would hire you for my brand, that's a positive thing. So basically, even if you're making like very minimal sales, let's just say you're making one sale a week, you're making one sale a day, right? You can scale that, and that's the whole thing. If you only make one sale a day, you can definitely make 10 sales a day. You can make one sale an hour, right? You can, whatever you're doing, you can scale it. So figure out what is working and keep doing that, and then figure out what is not working. Get rid of those log jams in your brand and business, and you're gonna see much better growth. And like the musicians, that are constantly making music regardless of, and it's good music, regardless of how much buzz they have, your body of work one day will shine and people will recognize it. You just can't give up. So hope you guys like that word of encouragement. I need it. You guys probably need it. Let me know if you have any comments or questions in the comment section below, and I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.